Politically Corrupt, a show here on the Ringer reality feed. I'm Rachel Lindsay. She is Chelsea Stark Jones. Chelsea, I'm happy to be back. I had to miss Friday's show because I had a little fun in the sun. I was out in Cancun for 48 hours for a college friend's wedding. So much fun. Felt just like college all over again. But we're almost 40 college. We didn't get too crazy. But like Texas people in Cancun, it was really fun. And I here's an open moment. I thought I would do this on social. Maybe I will too. But I was in Cancun and I got married in Cancun, like a mile down the road from where this resort was. And I thought to myself as I was riding, I was like, is it going to be weird going back to Cancun and for somebody else's wedding? This is the first wedding that I've been to post-divorce. And I'm going back to the place that, where my wedding happened. And I didn't feel a thing. I felt great. And I was just happy to be there. And I think this was the perfect type of wedding to go back for because it was old friends. It was very nostalgic, just like the joy of being with people also who knew me before all of this. It just made me feel like a kid again. And these were childhood friends who rekindled, like they always stayed in touch, but then they started dating, over the last few years. And so a lot of the people there were from the same hometown as well. So there was just like a lot of love and joy, and it was just oozing out of everyone's pores. It was a really good time. But
That's good.
Wasn't
That's how
affected. Growth.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's how you put in the work, you grew, and you're in a better, happier place. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun. But anyways, happy to be back.
Good. I'm happy to have you back.
Yes, because we got some things to get into. We are not going to recap Atlanta. Not that we're not enjoying it. We're just going to do news and a little trip down memory lane.
Yes.
A little trip on. I'm trying to think of a way to say it. We're going to float down the river. Not a trip down memory lane. We're going to take a trip down by the riverside. Shout out to Willie Jones. Check it. Okay. The Paige and Craig drama is never ending. And we should have expected this, right? With Summer House coming out and with Southern Charm coming out and these reunions coming up, we should have known that things wouldn't be all sunshine and blue skies. We're a long ways away from where we started. Because when Paige first announced it in the emotional statement she made on Giggly Squad, we didn't hear from Craig. Paige took the high road. She didn't criticize Craig. She didn't get into the details. It was just two people who love each other where the timing wasn't right and it didn't work out. And I thought that's where it would end. But my goodness, Paige has said enough.
Yeah.
Are you mad at it?
No, I'm quite entertained. And I think too, it is allowing us to see and understand the relationship in a way that we never have before, in large part because Paige has protected him so much. And Craig lives in Delulu land. So I really like this peek behind the curtain. And I think too, it's just like a lesson in relationships and like an actual, like, to see it happening through someone else's eyes. It's never what you guys see on social media or on Bravo. Like there's so much more to someone's relationship than what's presented. And I think, it could present itself as obviously a learning experience for both Paige and Craig, but for the viewers too, that might be going through something similar or could potentially go through something similar.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, did you watch the Summer House after show?
I didn't watch the after show, but what I will say is I'm not team Craig or Paige when it comes to them discussing their relationship because, and I'm recently going through a breakup, but you've obviously gone through breakups before. And you know that when you're pulled out of it and you can look at things objectively and your head's out of the clouds or buried in the sand or whatever it is, because you're not blinded by the love and care that you have for this person and you're able to look at it for what it is, this is where the hindsight is 2020 situation comes in. And so I don't think that it's hard for me to be like, Craig was all these things to Paige, because I think that there's certain things, of course, you don't like about your partner and you don't like the way that things are. And this goes for both of them, but you're willing to make compromises and sacrifices because you love them so much. And it's all of what you can handle. But now that you're removed from it, you can talk about things the way that they were. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's what we're getting now. But no, I didn't watch the after show, but I don't watch these after shows, but I'm really gonna have to start. Are they on Peacock?
They're on Peacock. I watch them on a newsworthy basis. So if I see people talking about it on Twitter, I'll turn it on. Other than that, I leave it be. So I did turn this one on because it did get a lot of people chatting online. And I thought what Paige revealed or opened up to us about with Craig was really honest, but I also think there were parts of it where she also was at fault for some of the them not seeing eye to eye in their relationship. One of the things she mentioned was that she was, you know, never felt like she could go to him when she had good news about
Mhm.
her career. Um, because he would act like he was excited for her, but deep down she knew that he would see it as like some way to make it about him or their relationship or something like that. And she said, I know I will find my person when I want to call that person instead of calling my dad first. And
Mm,
she said, whenever I had something big going on, I called my dad before I called Craig. And like I think that's telling. Like if
that's
you're in a
very
relationship
telling.
with someone and you don't want to like share your high highs and your career success and stuff like that because you know that they will have some type of resentment or feel some type of way about it, like that's not a relationship you want to be in. So I'm happy she saw that. But one of the other things was that she said, where I think she's kind of like has to put some of the responsibility on herself for, is she was speaking about she had these panic attacks during the Giggly Squad tour.
Mhm.
And from her, how she felt she was these things were being triggered was because of Craig's, and we saw this in Summer House, like constant like we need to put focus on our relationship. We need to make sure we're making time for each other and stuff like that. And like that took on stress for her. But how he perceived it was like, you're so busy. This isn't good for you. You should slow down. And she was like, how could he not see like he's the source of my stress? And it's like, well, because you didn't tell him.
Mhm.
And in
Mhm.
this previous episode of Summer House, it was also like she was upset about how he didn't like how he handled the Kyle situation. And she was like, how does he not see this as giving me anxiety? And it's like, because you're not saying that it's giving
Yeah.
you anxiety. You're kind of like agreeing with him and just letting him move through these motions. So I think there were moments in which she could have definitely been a lot more vocal about
Mhm.
things like this in her relationship. Not saying that it would have helped and changed Craig's perception of things. But you can't like, especially with men, they're so like they need to just see things very plainly and it needs
Mhm.
to be verbalized and very specific. And so the fact that he like had to guess her emotions or how things were making her feel, I think obviously contributed. And we see it like how he thinks one way on the show and she obviously like we could tell she feels another, but that's just women understanding women. And Craig is as much as he likes to sew and garden, he doesn't have our emotional intelligence.
I mean, no, he doesn't, and it's the more they talk about it, the more I'm like, and we've talked about it at great length, and I'm sure we'll be discussing this again, but Craig never wanted this Paige.
Mhm.
Period. He wanted the Paige who was going to move into his life and in South Carolina. And I know that he was saying he was willing to move to New York. And I believe that he wanted to do those things, but he would have, as she said, resented her for it. And to hear Paige, which we kind of, clocked too when watching the show, to hear Paige say on the after show that they were, she, Sierra, and Amanda were like, who was that girl? And my outfits were so ugly and I didn't
Yeah.
recognize myself. It's like she wasn't happy in that life. And that's why she kept, maintaining things the way that they were in New York. But I totally know. And again, I did the same thing Paige did. And I can talk about it objectively now. And I knew how it made me feel and that I didn't like it in the moment. But I would not tell my ex achievements that came because I just felt like things kept happening for me and they weren't for him. I used to buy stuff and hide it from him. I used
Mm.
to buy not because I wasn't supposed to be buying it, because despite what's been put out there, we never had joint bank accounts. So I was using my money to buy it, but I would feel bad if he came home and saw that I bought something nice, kind of like he couldn't buy that for me. So I would hide
Mhm.
it. What kind of relationship is that? So I understood, and it's like the thing with women. I was trying to protect his feelings, protect him from it, rather than honoring my own feelings, which is what I think Paige was doing a lot of. To your point,
Mhm.
about her not sharing that she was anxious because she didn't want to make him feel bad, which we too often do. She was prioritizing his feelings over hers. She was protecting him over to herself until she couldn't anymore. So this
Yeah.
relationship was always doomed. But also the toxic masculinity that exists in this relationship of the way Craig believes that, or the way he wanted Paige to be, and the way he didn't honor her achievements or her success. I mean, telling her to watch the ABBA documentary is wild, but how was Craig going to get any better when this mindset was being reaffirmed by the people that surrounded himself with? So Shep on the after show said that the Giggly Squad was a stupid ass talk show, and he called Paige out for not going on cash trips with Craig during Southern Charm. That statement alone, because it's not a stupid show, it's a show that sells out in multiple cities across the countries to the point where they had to add more shows. It's a top performing podcast. It's sponsored where they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars in what it is that they're doing, if not more. I can't even clock all their money. But they're doing well and they mean a lot to a lot of people. They have a strong following. They have,
Mhm.
like, when you can name the people that listen to you, you have a strong following community support system. That is
Yeah,
something that
and
they
they're
built
they're
from the
just as
ground up.
intense as the Swifties. They will come for you.
Like, Shep, as much as I do enjoy Shep in person when I'm around him, he's a fun guy. It's like, what are you doing that's meaningful other than like playing with the balls of a doorknob as you're knocking on somebody's door, or wearing socks in your socks instead of shoes at a formal event? Like what are you doing
He's
at your
getting
big
his
age?
he's getting his mailbox money, and, he can't it shows the and look, every person, every type of person has a person for them, and, you know, he I think wants a woman that is just, like, easily gonna get up and go and do whatever he wants to do, and as an outsider looking at the Craig and Paige relationship, like, yeah, that was not he would not have been happy in a relationship like that with Paige. It probably would have ended eons ago.
Mhm.
But I think, like, for him to make that insult, and then also with she never filmed with the group, she never went on a cast trip. I think Paige and Craig talked about this, and I actually appreciated the fact that they weren't super ingrained in each other's shows
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Because I think we got enough of them. Like Craig coming every couple, like twice a weekend, or whatever, into the summer house, and then Paige coming when she can. That's enough. Like as a viewer, like I don't need to see Paige all year round. I don't need to see Craig all year round. Him going on like her going on a cast trip, like I didn't need.
It's not
And she
her
did
job.
it's not her job. And especially I was thinking about it too, like, I don't know how contracts work, but because she is on Summer House, would she demand an episodic fee if she was having to film more with Southern Charm? Does she get paid per episode for Southern Charm? Like maybe the producers don't want her on there that much because they don't want to have to pay her so much to be on a second show. Um and she did. She filmed with Madison. She filmed a scene with Austin. She filmed at that group party that Craig hosted at the house when Vanita jumped in the pool. She has filmed in group settings. So for him to be upset about it, it's like, I'm sorry, like, sorry, not sorry. Like,
Yeah.
she's doing what she can. And especially as a long distance relationship, like, she's not in Charleston.
Exactly. Also, are they performative for the show, their
Yeah.
relationship? Like they are together in each other's respective cities all the time. And sorry she couldn't make this trip to Jamaica to play hide and go seek with your alleged girlfriend. Like,
Yeah.
that's like, sorry, just it really upset me to see him say that because it's so obvious that you don't think it's a stupid show. You don't feel this way about Paige. There's jealousy. If you feel it threatens your manhood, it doesn't go along with the gender roles you believe women should be holding. You don't like that, even for Craig to say, we saw on Summer House where he's like, I didn't know I was going to be in a submissive relationship. You supporting your girlfriend while she has a career doesn't make you submissive. But that's the fucked up mindset that these men have. So it's like, then go find that girl to fit in the way you want a woman to be by your side.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't like his comment, but I also understand what he's like. I
Which one?
just
Which comment?
the submissive one. Because it did feel like their relationship didn't have much compromise. It felt like whatever Paige wanted to do is what they did.
But that's not submissive. Well,
yeah, that's why I don't know if I like the word submissive, but like I understand what I think he was trying to say is it's like if when Paige ready to do X, Y, and when Paige is ready to do X, Y, and Z, it's when we will do it. But like it felt like he didn't really have much of a say. And like granted, yes, like if we're getting married, if we're having children, like that the woman should be able, like she is the main, determining factor as to when that's going to happen because she's carrying said child and then her career and life changes drastically after that. But like it just didn't feel like as a viewer that and that's also his fault. Like like he just did whatever Paige said to do and like he signed on like and went along with it. So for him to complain about it, like that's on him. But I do feel like she made a lot of the calls in their relationship.
I think
And he was just so in love with her. And look, like if she really helped him through the throes of addiction and stuff like that, like I could see why he's so dependent and feels like he needs her. But like it just I do think that he contributed to um not feeling like he has a say in his relationship because he just like agreed with whatever it is that she wanted to do.
Yeah, and I also think that he had the flexibility in his schedule to where he could move around more than she could.
Mhm. Yeah.
He could move to her. A lot of what
Yeah.
she was doing seemed to be in New York or traveling across the country, and he, as a business owner, seemed to have more of a flexibility in what it is that he's doing. I was like, we probably said this before on this podcast, but Southern charm proves a point that has always been something that's true. Men are more messy than women. They are messier. The way Shep and Austin continue to jump into the details of the relationship with Craig and Paige, they are talking the most to me. And the way they keep insinuating that she left Craig for somebody else, it's again, this is not healthy for your mindset. Like, be there for your guy, take up for him, sure, defend him, I get it. But to plant these things of making her the villain in order to lift Craig up, problematic.
It's not a
And
good
that's what
look.
they keep doing. Or
Yeah.
JT supporting the Giggly Squad and Austin being like, oh, he's a pick me. Or maybe he just has a different perspective than you. Maybe
Yeah.
he just sees the other side of it. Like they are reiterating this toxic mentality.
I definitely I will say I do think JT was being a little bit of a pick me because inserting himself in an argument that had absolutely nothing
He's
to do with
messy
him to make
too.
himself look good. But and also I hate coming to Austin's defense. In the clip with Shep, he did, and I wish it was elaborated on a little bit more. Maybe it wasn't, it got cut out, but he did say that they did try to make filming work with like her going on a cast trip or something like that. Like when Shep was going on his rant, like a couple times Austin was like, but they tried. They tried. And you hear Shep talking over him. So I wonder to what extent and if whatever. But yeah, I mean, they're messy. I don't mind it because it's allowing us to get more
Sure.
insight. And I'm curious as to what Craig is. I believe he's going to lean into the victim role at the reunion. and the woe is me, and I didn't see it coming, and all of that. Um, and I am curious of his thoughts about the guy that she was seen dating. But I also think like he's gonna maybe try to make it so that Austin and Shep say it for him so that he could like be
And they
the
will.
I didn't say it, someone else said it type of role. Um, but yeah.
And they will. I just say shout out to Paige and Hannah. I love the way that you have these men rattled. These men cannot handle what it is that you are doing in your success. Like all they can do is sign up for another reality TV show.
Yeah.
And I love that they are so bothered by Paige and Hannah just doing what they do,
Yeah.
building their
And
empire.
I hate to say it, I do feel like this might be Paige's last season on Summer House, which breaks my heart, but she has so many other great things going for her that she really doesn't need this show.
Well, they've got to revamp Summer House. Like what really made Summer House stand out that things need to change was the addition of Lexi because
Yeah.
it makes the others seem like they're 50 and they're not. They're in their early 30s except for Lindsay and Kyle and Carl, but they just seem so older because they've grown up in this space. Whereas
Mhm.
she just comes in and, she's all 24, 25, whatever her age is. I don't know. Like some of these people have aged out.
Do you think they need to trend younger and focus on a younger cast, or keep the aesthetic of the older cast and focus on
You
them?
know what they should do? They should keep Wes and Jesse and Lexi a part of that summer house and transfer the other one to something what Danny Pellegrino was talking about. Have them have like a Jersey Shore family vacation type
Oh, yeah,
show.
yeah.
So they have a summer house family vacation where we still keep the core and we see them go to a different city and have a summer house somewhere else on, a different lake or a different body of water. I think that would be
Mhm.
cool to watch because I don't want to lose them. We've
Yeah.
spent so many seasons with them, but separate the two.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
People like Wes and Jesse enough to where I think people would keep watching.
Yeah, definitely. I just I yeah, I don't know. I think I just like I'm a creature of habit, so I'm not sure how I would feel about that change. Um,
And I love change.
yeah, so that one would be tougher. I mean, I definitely would watch, but I mean, look, I watched The Valley. That's different. That's a
Yeah,
spinoff. So we'll see.
I think bring Bailey back. Let us try to figure out what happened to her. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there are
I mean,
things,
look, to
there are
your point,
ways.
I'm not ready to stop following Lindsay and Kyle and
Yeah.
Amanda. Um, I could take or leave Carl, but like there's people I'm invested in and I don't want to lose them. And I understand the aesthetic of the show, the type of the show is shifting. But I don't also know if I want to watch 24-year-old bebopping around taking like I don't know, like I kind of like I feel more connected to the older
But then
group. So
you would still have it.
yeah,
So like you
yeah,
split the baby, you still have the option to watch
yeah,
them. You don't have to let them go.
yeah.
But
Maybe please don't
but I
go.
don't believe you because you watch Southern Hospitality.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so bye, Chelsea.
But they're a little bit older, I think. Oh, actually, no, they're in their
I
20s.
hope
Some of
they're in
them are
their
in their
20s.
30s. Some of them are in their 30s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you watch
I
that.
guess.
So,
Yeah. Calling me a
mhm,
liar. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. You just don't like change. You just don't want them to change your show.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's move out of the Southern House. It's so hard. Southern Charm, Southern House, Summer House world. And
Tongue twister.
Jersey is giving us some news. So Teresa is having money issues, which I knew nothing about, which some of this has already been out there. So Teresa's been hit with a tax lien
Hmm.
following the reveal of Louis not paying his own tax debt of over 2.5 million. So they're married. So this lien must be coming from him not paying some debt. The judgment was filed against her. The judgment was made in the amount of over $300,000. And I didn't know this, that, back in 2023 of October of 2023, that she was hit with past due taxes over $1 million. Apparently she paid just a little under half of that, but still owes the rest to the state of New Jersey. Again, I didn't know that Louis took out a $1 million loan to pay for their $3.4 million mansion. Again, if you got to do this, first off, they don't need that big house. They don't
Mm-mm.
need all of that. 2 of the kids don't live there. The other one's about, if she's not already, Melania, she's probably already out of the house now. So
Yeah, I think
you
Melania's in
didn't need
college.
that, like, just for show, but it just shows what people will do to keep up with the Joneses or keep up a certain lifestyle. Like, the idea that you took out $1 million is wild to me. So it shows that Louis has never had money. Teresa has also revealed that we knew she didn't have a prenup, but she didn't do too much digging into Louis's income or his debt prior to them tying the knot, but yet she still didn't do a prenup. And after somebody who went to jail for a white collar crime that was based off of money,
Mhm.
I used a crass term off the podcast. I'm not going to say it, but I'll soften it up by saying, I believe she was probably dumb off the dick. I just, I, as a like, for me, I've gone through my own issues. I'm sorry, I keep like using examples, but I would never not sign a prenup, like not do that again. I've learned my lesson. I put myself in a situation. I underestimated what somebody could do to me, and I don't want to put
Mhm.
myself in a vulnerable situation like that again. Teresa has been through a situation with money and went to jail over it. Now, when
Mhm.
she came out, was she able to capitalize on that and make more money? Sure. But why would you subject yourself to this again? I just, what do they say people argue over, Chelsea? In marriage, it's or what causes breakups? Money?
Mhm.
Is it sex? It's
Sex and communication?
something like, well, we just know money's one of them.
Money's a big one.
Money is a big one, and they got issues, $1 million issues.
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw this, my immediate thought was her refusing to do a prenup and remembering the reunion where Andy was, like, really trying to convince her to sign a prenup with this man, and she just no, and I like then my second thought was, "How is she gonna go down this path again? We went through it with Juicy J, and we're gonna do this again? Like, Teresa, just be a little bit smarter." Like, like you lost so much when you went away for, like you said, a white collar crime, and then you're gonna put yourself in this situation and not protect yourself and your 4 daughters. And what is this? This is not okay. I can't um I love my girl Tree, but it's just come on.
This
But
is
also, where are the cameras? Put the cameras up. Is she getting her own show? I need to see this. We need to be in that big kitchen with her talking to Louis about the financial problems.
yeah.
Like did she know? Did she know that he had these problems? Like
No.
I need the cameras inserted into their house, and I need this to be discussed
N
like yesterday.
I mean,
So,
the interview was weeks ago where she discussed their financial situation and said she didn't do digging into Louis and his debt, but we don't know what the state of New Jersey Housewives. We don't know what's going on there. Everybody keeps teasing this big Bravo announcement that's coming soon. We don't know what it's
mhm.
in regard to, but we haven't seen it anywhere. Um, so she's clearly the sole breadwinner. He had a company called Digital Media Solutions that filed for bankruptcy, and they are being accused of not paying a $300,000 debt that was for a launch party. Again, why are you spending over $250,000 for a launch party? Crazy. Well, now it makes sense why that company had to file for bankruptcy. I mean, they weren't, doesn't seem that they were smart with how they were utilizing their money. But
Yeah.
even just thinking about, so that $300,000 debt that's for a company that he founded, the $1 million loan, that just off the top of my head, he's probably paying $6,000 a month plus interest, whatever it is on the loan for a million. You know what I mean? Plus your
Yeah.
mortgage. It's just so unnecessary. And even if they sell the house, has it accumulated enough to pay back the $1 million loan? Are they like, nobody's gonna rent out that house and pay that much. It's wild to me. You got one girl who just finished college, one's in college, two more that,
It's a lot.
it's hard
It's
for me to
and
even say I feel bad that Teresa was this, like, ignorant in these decisions, but also she was fully capable of not putting herself in this situation.
Oh, yeah, and that's what I mean, like we said, she has experienced these financial issues before, and so she should be more equipped to make smarter decisions, and she's not doing it. And, it's also like, God, like, I hope her 4 girls are not taking notes. Like, I hope that or they are, but in another way. Like, "Do not do this ever!" Exclamation point, underline. Like, it's just so I hate that it's baffling. Like, I'm disappointed in her. It's like, you gotta do better. And it also, we had her love bubble. She's in her love bubble. But like, they were talking about his finances in Jersey since he's been on the show, like questioning them and that he seems sketchy and all this stuff. And so it's like, to at least not even sign the prenup, it's like, come
And
on, Tree.
I gotta say, Louis the type of man to go after her,
Mhm.
and then try to get on a reality show.
Mhm.
That I would be shocked because he's in so much debt. And even
Yeah.
if he wasn't, I think
He
he would be spiteful. He would want to
yeah.
hurt her. His pride would be so hurt by the whole situation. Right now, his entire life is her. And if she were to leave him, he would not make it easy in
Mm-mm.
any kind of way. Well, that pretty much wraps up the news. I'm sure there's other news and I'm sure we forgot, but we gave you a lengthy conversation about the 2 news items we did discuss. But before we let you guys leave, since we're not covering Real Housewives of Atlanta, we're going to do a little bit of something called Housewives and Boats and a deep dive on how they just don't match. And this is coming off the hills of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. In the last trip, we know the ladies are in St. Lucia. They went on a boat ride and we're still on the boat, right? This week, we pick up where we left
Yeah.
off, but we left off with Sutton storming off. Erica's coming at her. Sutton feels attacked. Now, I will say, and then Jennifer Tilly gives us the iconic line of, on the next episode of, what did she say? Crazy
A
boat
boat ride
ride?
from hell.
A boat
Yeah.
ride from hell. And that's what it seems we're on. Although I will say, when you take a trip down the riverside and you see the other franchises and the boat rides that they've had, this fails in comparison to some of the
Mhm.
other cities. So we're going to do just a slight recap. We'll start with Real Housewives of Miami. On the most recent season, we saw the ladies go to Mexico City and they take the gondola ride. And there are like 15 different things that are happening on this ride. It's almost like the cameras couldn't keep up with everything, from the arguments that the women are having to what they're seeing on the shoreline of, it's not even really a shoreline, just like
S
on the
the
side of it.
yeah,
Like,
of the river.
you couldn't write a better script. There's just so
No.
many things going on. Like, if you'll remember, Adriana says it smells like evil. And when the producer asks her what that smells like, she says cat pee, which makes a lot of sense. They see that creepy house with all the dolls hanging there. Lisa's trying to feed dogs because she feels sorry for them. Kiki feels like it takes offense to it. Feels like Lisa's looking down on her. Gertie gets sick, which this boat is barely moving. So it's I mean, Gertie has been obviously had
Yeah,
health issues,
she
so I'm
yeah.
sure that's why. But Gertie gets sick, she's throwing up, she has to be escorted off. Lisa cares more about her lip gloss than anything else is going on. I mean, this was crazy. Like, but Chelsea, what stood out to you the most about this gondola ride?
It was crazy town. It was definitely crazy. God, I miss Miami. I saw somewhere that Marisol said it's coming in June, which feels too far
It
away.
does.
These women, I think It was because it started off as most boat rides do, a beautiful day on the boat.
It's lovely. Lovely.
And it just escalated. It was just like all these layers and layers and layers. And it just like they kept upping the ante. I think it was the doll island that really just put it over the edge. And I feel like it made some of the women cry, like how creepy it
Yeah,
was.
Julia.
And it was like,
As if they were babies. Because remember they were like hanging from
yes.
trees. They weren't just
And
in
it
the
was like
house.
kind of like culty, like religious-y kind of stuff. And so, yeah, that probably that. And Lisa's just complete. It's always funny how a housewife will make something about them when it really has nothing to do with them. So
Mhm.
like Kiki getting angry about Lisa feeding the dogs, like not really have anything to do with Kiki. But to then say you are making fun of these people and saying they can't feed their dogs and that's why and that's how I grew up. Like always the line that they connect these things to is just crazy to me. But then for Lisa to like, of course, not back down and continue to be tone deaf and just elitist, and fight on with her was just fabulous. And of course, the lip gloss. Like th- nothing nothing as trivial as lip gloss will get like she got back on that boat hands and knees looking for the lip gloss when poor Gertie was being escorted into an ambulance.
Yeah.
Like what is wrong with this woman?
It almost like that scene is Lisa. Like
Yes.
it's just like that is her. Um, we used to have this saying in one of the cities that I used to work in Texas, where the closer people were to the water, the crazier they were. And
Hmm.
maybe that is what's happening here with these boat rides. Because we always talk about how we love a dinner table. But I
Yeah.
love that we're talking about, no, it's really the boats. Another boat ride. Salt Lake City, season 3. We still have Jen Shaw in the picture. The ladies took a boat ride trip were they in San Diego?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
San
because Jen
Diego.
couldn't leave the country.
She couldn't leave.
They were in San Diego. They take this boat ride, and I don't even remember what the argument was. It was just the infamous shoe. Like who thinks to take somebody's I mean, throwing things in the water period is a no-no, but like to take somebody's shoe and just throw it, and I don't even think she was mad at Angie, if I remember correctly. She
No,
just took her shoe.
she was just being a bitch. Yeah, it was like, Jen, yeah, it was wild, and it was Angie's first like season. She was a friend of too, so she very much. It was also earlier and on the trip when Jen poured champagne on her or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
She was really getting bullied, and look how she's turned around. She's turned it around for herself. Salt Lake has had some wild moments on transportational vessels, whether it be a sprinter van or a boat. Like these women are fighting regardless of the setting. I feel like Meredith had a great fight on a boat last season when they were in
Oh, Bermuda.
Bermuda with Monica, and they were all like
Oh, yeah,
saying
yeah,
that
yeah.
she was like the one, doing all this nefarious stuff online, and her iconic reactions always of just getting very angry very quickly. And I feel, didn't they have a boat ride this past season too that was kind of like hectic? Salt Lake, you put them on a boat, you put them on a sprinter van, you put them on an airplane, you put them in the airport, they're gonna find a way to fight. And I love it.
We love it.
They're chaotic all the time.
All the time. Ah, Salt Lake City. They just left us, but it's like, please come back soon.
They're already filming.
And then, of course, there is the iconic boat ride from Real Housewives of New York, Old RHONJ, season 10. What a 10-year anniversary to have. We see the women all go to Cartagena. This is back when Bethany was there. It's Ramona Singer. Carol was still on the show. Luann, Sonia, Dorinda, Tinsley. Oh, what an all-star cast. I think Bethany and Carol, they were at odds at this point. They were the best of friends, and then they were the worst of friends. Dorinda and Luann are into it at this point. We've got prime Dorinda. And I guess they almost canceled the boat trip, right?
Yeah. So this is like one of those moments where it was, BTS. Their trip home was so crazy. Like, I think they made the women sign an agreement that they wouldn't sue the network because, like,
About the boat
the
ride?
yeah, because the boat almost capsized or something like that because of how bad the weather conditions were. And we saw some of it, but apparently it was a lot worse than what we saw. So all of the like crazy personality dynamics and drinking on top of them almost dying, um traumatizing for them, entertaining for us.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's because it started off nice and, like, they were dancing on the boat and they were drinking champagne, and it was, like, the perfect day, and then
Mhm.
as things do happen on the sea, on the water, it's unpredictable and you never know what's gonna happen, so I guess, like, midway through, they're immediately told, "Hey, you guys gotta get down, the water's getting really choppy," but it seemed as if as they were saying the words, it was already happening.
Mhm.
And so I guess the Coast Guard called and said that they needed to wrap it up. It was time to go, but they were out in like they had to get on the boat and go, but they probably shouldn't have. And so yeah, um Ramona was screaming in Sonia's arms, saying slow it down. They were hugging each other. I mean, I can't even imagine. Like I would have been freaking out.
I've
Like
been
to be on a
terrified.
boat that it's bad enough when you're on choppy water and the boat is slapping the water. It's
Mhm.
scary. It's like it gives you whiplash. And
Mhm.
then the wind's going and yeah, and I'm sure the crew was probably freaking out too because they weren't expecting it. Sonia, of course, peed her pants.
As she always does.
Luann's jumping for cover. Carol's vomiting. It brings her and Bethany together because Bethany's trying to comfort her. I mean, I guess they thought this was it. There was
Trauma
smoke
bonding, yeah.
coming from the boat because the anchor was dragging on the ocean floor. They had to put the cameras down. I feel like we got a
Yeah.
note that said that. And then when they came back, they explained what was happening and everything. Um, we didn't mention Tinsley's name, who seemed to be, I guess, unfazed by it all. But then after they left, they all had, I mean, Montezuma's Revenge isn't a thing in Colombia, but I guess they had the Colombian version of it because they all
Oh,
had
yeah. They
diarrhea.
were all shitting themselves. It
Like,
was disgusting.
what? I don't know if they were anxious. It was the fear. Who knows? But
Is
that,
that when Sonia wore a diaper on the airplane home because of the insane amounts of shit?
that's when you just delay your trip and just stay another day. Like, you do not get on a flight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
but
gross.
that obviously was we hope that they're as entertained as we are to laugh about it and reminisce about it. We hope that the women are never put in that type of situation again to where their lives are at risk. Just give
Mhm.
us simply throwing something overboard, fights, yelling, what drunkenness. Remember the boat ride they had where Erica got really drunk that time and she was like
Oh, yeah.
telling everybody about themselves? Like,
Yes, that was great.
so it still stands. The closer to the water, the crazier you get, and something about
Yeah.
it, if it's the sun, if it's the alcohol, if it's the movement of the water, it just takes these women to another level that we thoroughly enjoy watching.
Yeah. I guess another one, it's you mentioned Erica, a good one was it when they were in Tokyo and her and Dorit were going at it and Dorit was like, "You
Yep.
don't talk enough." And Erica says, "I say important shit. You say too much shit," or whatever.
And somebody says,
Like,
isn't that where Brandy slapped Lisa?
oh no, that was a different boat ride, but
See?
yes.
There's so
Yes.
many. There are
Yes.
so many guys.
Yeah.
Put these you know what? Make a whole franchise where they live. Give us a houseboat and the women living on the water. We say
Bravo yeah. Bravo should do a thing on Peacock where it's like best housewife or best boat episodes where they just pull all of them from franchises and put it on one playlist so we could just press play and watch all the crazy boat moments. Best sprinter van episodes.
it might come
Best
down to
best
this.
crazy dinner episodes. Like just put them all together so we don't have to, do all the hard work and skip around. Lay it out for
It's actually
us.
a great idea that they probably will steal from us and do. And as things get stale, it's a good way to like get people excited and back into it. But if Alex Cooper can make a reality show of dating on the water. Bravo can give us a franchise where the women spend the time on a cruise. Think about it. I hate cruises. I hate them. I get bored. I get cabin fever, but on a boat. I'm super restless. I want to get off the thing. There's only so many things that you can do. I swear to God, anytime I've been on a cruise, I end up knowing everybody by the time it's over.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but with Housewives. Like, I can imagine that energy, but bringing it to Housewives would be wild.
We had a moment of that with Ultimate Girls Trip. It was the first one, the All Stars, and it was a fight between Kenya and Ramona. I forget what they were fighting. I mean, those two would fight about anything, but like that was epic. They need to bring back Ultimate Girls Trip.
Yeah, where are we with that?
I don't know.
Come on,
I think they're
guys.
scared.
Come on.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Okay, well, this was a really good episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We, per usual, on Friday, will be recapping the Bravo shows of the week. So make sure you guys join us there so you don't miss out on anything that we are covering here on Morally Corrupt, on Ringer Reality TV. Don't forget, you guys can watch us on video on platform, on Spotify, and check out our YouTube channel as well. We're doing all the things. So make sure you guys stay connected.